Hello everyone in cyber world. Welcome back to another video. I'm Richard. Not again. Hey, we're filming. Yeah. Oh yeah. Jennifer flew back home to visit her family and help her mother out with something. So I guess I'm alone again. Well, it's kind of lonely yet again, but Jennifer had to take care of some important stuff. So I've been at home and working on projects on my own, and I might be filming a few more of these if I get them done before she returns. Hopefully she'll be back soon enough and we'll be able to work together again. So this week is something that I've actually wanted to do for a really long time, even before we had a YouTube channel. For many years, I was active duty in the military, and being one of the strange ones, I wore long sleeve shirts and a necktie nearly every day for my entire career, and then I started wearing suits afterwards. So over 30 years I wore a suit, and so I always wanted or needed a valet where I can hang my suit up at night or in between getting ready and so forth, and it's just something I never got around to. Well, I came across something recently, and I said, you know what, I like that design to make something using pipes. And I thought, well, let me see if I can come up with something for a valet. Now, midway through while designing this, my intent was to have part of it linked with an actual coat hanger, a wooden coat hanger, so that I can hang things on it, as well as pants, shorts, whatever else that I'm going to be hanging. Now, as I was doing this, I came to realize, you know what, I usually wear polos and a t-shirt, and it's not really worth putting a hanger on this thing, so I just went with some very basic design. In the end, this is perfect. Up until now, I find myself changing on a regular basis into poor man's shirts so that we can stain, we can epoxy, we can paint, and not worry about ruining clothes. And so it's a matter of throwing clothes and onto my dresser, chest of drawers, and it just bugs me that it's there, and I don't want to fold it and put it back into the drawer because I'm going to be wearing it after I change again. So I thought, well, this is the perfect time to work on a valet. Now, we're going to show you exactly what we did, or I should say what I did to create this. In this particular case, I believe I mentioned, but it's actually kind of expensive the way I went about it. The pipes that I used, it's 1/2 inch pipes that are pre-threaded. They're designed for water and some other things, but they're really solid. By the time I finish the whole project, it's quite heavy. This might not be something that you want to do in that way. I think if you can get a hold of a threaded PVC, or even if it's not threaded, you could probably do something similar to it. I don't know how strong it would be, but if you're only going to be hanging clothes, it's not as though you need to be able to hold up hundreds of pounds. This thing here is definitely going to hold up a lot of weight and more if I wanted to. I'm even thinking about doing some chin-ups on it if need be. So anyhow, this has actually turned out to be quite simple, but it looks really nice. I'm super thrilled with it. So let me go ahead and show you how we did this. To begin with, we have two 48-inch length 1/2 inch pipes. We have two 36-inch length pipes and two 18 inches. Next, we have a bunch of connectors. We have some 90-degree elbows, some T-connectors, some floor flanges, various size connections, various sizes of extensions, and a couple of connectors. These aren't designed for this type of pipe. However, we're going to explain why we chose these. All right, the truth of the matter is we went with this black pipe as well as some galvanized steel parts to make this. This is not by any means the least expensive. It's actually quite expensive compared to some other options that you have. The reason that I decided to go with that is I like the look of not only the pipes, but the threaded connectors and whatnot. And once they're connected, how it actually looks for furniture and some other things that I've seen in the past. We actually built something a while back for someone for a gift that we didn't make a video of, but I like the look of that. So anyhow, that's why we decided to go with this. Now, for the most part, we kept true to this until it came to one part that we'll show you as we assemble this, that there comes a point that you cannot connect two different things at the same time. As you try to connect it, you screw one side and the other side has a groove with the same threading, and it's already connected. You can't tighten them unless the connector itself has opposite grooves, opposite threads. So there is a part that comes in between them that's referred to as a union. Now the union, for whatever reason, is only about yay big, and it has opposite threads on both ends so that you can put it in between two pieces and tighten them, and that's perfect. However, just that one piece was $10 alone, and I need two of them, and it's like, well, as much as I like the look, I didn't want to spend another $20 just for a connector. So what we did was went with something that's a little bit different, which is why we went with this particular connector. And if you take a look inside, there are no threads. This is made for just a standard pipe that you could use for plumbing, where there's no threads on it. You can actually buy this for a much less money, a cost, than the type of pipe that we got with the threads already added onto them. That type of pipes that you can get are thinner. They're much less expensive. The connections are different. Now, this type of thing, people might think, well, it's not ideal for this, but these are actually made for passing water. You don't want water to come out of it. But what we're doing is making a DIY project for a piece of furniture, and it doesn't matter whether it's airtight or anything else like that. So although the connector, that the union piece would match the rest of this, again, it's $20, where I've got a package of these containing 5 for only $2. So it was just a case of, well, I'm just going to have to sacrifice on that one here. So in this particular case, I can't screw it in, and it will go all the way through. However, we have these nuts here that when you put it in here, you can tighten it and keep in place. That's all I need this for, is just to keep it in place. So the whole item that we're going to be making is going to stay together. Now let's go ahead and start assembling it all together. Now, before we start putting all this together, there's something that's you're probably going to realize once you start putting these together. Some of these things, it's just a matter of them screwing on. But you're going to find that at some point, as you've got all these connections and you're starting to make squares or something along those lines, that things aren't going to fit well. You're going to have to spin bars in order to tighten it. So you really need to think it out first as to what pieces you want to put together to make it easier. It's probably easier that you have a long bar and all the smaller assemblies put together, and you can just tighten the smaller assembly as opposed to having a long bar that you're going to have to spin around and around full size. So this might not make any sense right now, but you'll see as we start putting this together. Okay, when you're wrong, you're wrong. I experienced a epic fail by trying to save some money. As I mentioned earlier, I used a coupler here that you can just screw in and tighten the two rods to make it all fit. And in theory, sounded great. It actually kind of worked, but what I found is when the two rods are put in each side and you tighten it, it ended up holding down. It wasn't holding it enough. I'd imagine if this was longer and it had multiple screws to tighten it, it would probably keep it from bending. But because it was like about a ½ inch in is all it goes, it just wouldn't hold it straight enough. So what I ended up having to do is go out and purchase the union that I was trying to avoid. What makes matters worse is the general local big box store is about 10 miles away, and there's another one that's actually closer. However, it's a local one, and they're considerably more expensive. So my options were spend gas to drive 10 miles out to get this one piece and come back, or just go to the local one and see what it was. So this was actually more expensive, but this is what the union connector is. By doing this, you have threads on this side tightens, and then you can tighten on this side, and then when they're both connected, you will tighten the middle to hold both ends together. Of course, this doesn't want to work as an example, but I'm going to show you on the actual the project here exactly how this works. We haven't done this in a while, but we set up our paint tent and we are going to add some paint to this project. Okay, if you've seen any of our projects that we've made for gifts, we often use a stain that's called Kona Brown. Originally I was looking for black. Being I don't do too well with colors, I had to read this since I've never seen Kona Brown before and thought this would look good on that, so let's give it a try. Now, I don't want to take my camera inside the tent and spray because it's going to ruin my camera. Once I put down the netting, you're not going to be able to see it, but I'm sure you'll get the idea. Spray, spray, spray. I gotta be honest, I'm really happy with this particular build. I realize it's a very simple build, but it's something that I really wanted, and although I didn't go with the hanger idea, I like how it turned out better because the types of things that I do hang, it's gonna work so much more efficiently for me. I love the color of it, and even though it, like I said, it turned out to be a little more expensive than I had planned on, I just like that look of the pipe and all the connectors and whatnot. So I'm really thrilled with that. And I tell you what, although I didn't mention it earlier, you probably could, if you can get a hold of maybe a 1/4 inch pipe, that might even be a way to cut back on money, because it's still solid. That puppy there is so heavy, and that I think maybe a little bit overkill for the average person. But again, for me, this is something that's perfect. Next week, I don't know if we'll have my partner back in time. I've got several other projects that I'm almost finished that I've been working on at night, since I have no one else at home and nothing else to do. So I've been working on projects till late night, and so I'm probably going to finish a couple more before Jennifer gets back. So until we meet again, bye-bye.